and high school and middle school are both represented today. So again, thank you for answering those questions. Lets us know who's here participating and also maybe what kind of questions to expect. So I'm going to go ahead and end that and get it out of my way and go ahead and get started. So today's webinar training session is designed for teachers and other adults. Especially love having those admin here so you can actually see the functionality of the system. So I'm going to cover how to use Pass and interact with it and manage your students' hall passes. And by the end of the session, you should have an understanding of the basic system functionality from an adult's perspective, but also from the student's side so that you can help them in the future. I'll also make sure that you're aware of all the training resources that are available to you and your users, like your students. In case you need to help them, and there is lots of opportunities for questions. So we're going to utilize that Q&A for your questions. Anything that you need to communicate to me, please put it in that Q&A. I'll be constantly looking over there and checking to see if there is anything. Try to keep your questions system functionality questions. If it's school specific, you really should reach out to your school admin, or if it's a technical question, your IT department. But I will certainly try to answer all your past system functionality questions. So everything that I present to you today is available within your system, and I'll make sure that you're aware where those are housed during the training section, which is at the end, including the videos that you'll see today. So if you want to review anything that you see, you will have that ability in the future, and I'll make sure you know where to find it. So also in the background, I do have a generic demo school logged in. I've got a teacher admin and a student ready to go. So I'll use that to review what you see in the videos, also to help answer your questions and maybe give you some tips and tricks that the videos don't tell you. And it does alternate between those short videos and then live instruction where I review and highlight, answer questions, give tips and tricks and all that good stuff. There is a certificate of completion if you need that for your records. So at the end, there'll be a QR code. So if you have a mobile device near you, you'll be able to scan that, or you could take a screenshot of the certificate as well. All right, so let's start at the beginning, which is logging in. So if you're not logged in today, no worries. This is more one of those watch and learn situations. But when you are ready to log in, this is how you would do it. We support 2 browsers, Chrome and Safari. Of course, the product works on any browser that you choose. If you feel like you're having a little bit of tech issues or whatever, though, switch over to Chrome or Safari and see if that clears it up. You're going to use pass.securely.com/login to log in on that URL, and that's going to bring you to a sign-in page that looks like this screenshot. These are actually working buttons. It's like I want to yell that because so many people jump down to the email password and we get help desk tickets saying we can't log in. Did you try the Google, Clever, Microsoft, that's Office 365 or Azure, ClassLink or GG4L button? Because these are working buttons or icons. These will single sign you on. Chances are the vast majority of schools do utilize one of these third-party services. So Google, Clever, Microsoft, ClassLink, or GG4L, simply click there and single sign yourself on. If you do not utilize one of those third-party services, that's when you would use that email password field. All right. Can y'all tell that's my little soapbox? Sorry about that. Okay. So first up, before we get into the world of passes, we're going to start with a look at the dashboards, the adult and the students. And there is a little personal profile that you do need to complete. It's pretty short and simple. So watch this first video. I will be back after it's over and let me know if you have any questions.
Here is the screen you will see when you log in to Pass. You have a left-hand menu that shows your name, school, and various navigation options. The gear icon allows you to set your user settings. The speaker is an audible notification that you can turn on or off. If this is on, when you have a pass waiting for approval, you will receive an audible notification. The menu options can also be accessed as a pop-up by using the blue button in the top right corner of your dashboard. To the left is a question mark that displays a color legend of the different types of passes in the system. Students also have a left-hand menu with similar navigation options. The first thing you should do is set up your profile settings. Click on the gear icon on the left-hand menu, and under My Profile, you can add a picture. There are some decisions to make about appointment requests and passes, and you should set a PIN. This PIN is used to approve and end student passes on the student device. Make sure your PIN is unique to you and not easy for students to guess. Be sure to save the changes when you are done. You can also toggle to My Locations and associate yourself with a location. You can select from the list of locations that have been set up by your admin. If you are a nurse, counselor, band teacher, or another similar role, you may want to add that location to your profile. If you are associated with a location, you will see all passes to that location under your My Passes screen. Be sure to save the changes when you are done. Finally, there are blue question marks throughout Pass. These are instant FAQs to provide you with information about each function on that screen. This is a great first place to look to get help. Here is the screen.
About that, it started repeating itself. It's annoying. Okay, so that was a brief look. You'll see more of the dashboard later. They'll go over some toggles and things. But they did show you that profile, and all adults will need to set up their profile and Pass. And I just wanted to tell you a couple of things that the video doesn't. So we're up here on the top left, by the way. When you log in, you're going to see your name, your school name, and then this row of icons. So you log out automatically every night at midnight. So you log in each day, but if you need to log out sooner, it is there. And then that little audible notification. So I'm going to unmute mine so you can see, not see, so you can hear what it sounds like. So that little chime will happen if you unmute it whenever you need to approve a pass, and then that profile is under that wheel. So again, make sure you have your toggle set, your name, but also that you set up that PIN. Don't put 1, 2, 3, 4 because a student will guess that, and then you'll have to come in here and change your PIN number because they'll make passes that you didn't approve. You can talk to the student, but you'll just highlight and click update to make a new PIN. But yeah, don't use 1, 2, 3, 4. You wouldn't think I'd have to say that, but I do. Okay, on my locations, if you associate with a location here, first off, you should only do this if you actually need to. So don't go in here and associate yourself with all the bathrooms in your school, because guess what? You're going to have a million passes on your dashboard, and it's way too much to see all the time. So you only do this if you actually need to associate with a location. Maybe you have a duty there, because when you're on your dashboard and on My Passes, which is where we recommend that teachers or adults in a room, you've got enough. Like when you're teaching, you have enough to keep up with all those kids. So you stay on My Passes, which allows you to see all the passes to or from you, the user, but also if you associate with a location, they're going to show up there as well. If you have just like a hall duty and you need to monitor all the passes in the hallway at some time during the day, you can switch over to all passes at that time. But most of the time, you're just going to stay on My Passes. And again, just associate with a location if you actually need to. Okay. Get that out of the way. Apparently a little fiery today. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Up next, we're going to look at passes. So you're going to see this from both perspectives, the adult and the student side. It's going to be a split screen. And we're going to start off with a student created pass. There are student created passes and there are adult created passes, and there's subcategories within those roles. We're going to start off with round trip. And the way a pass runs its cycle is set up by your admin, and it's based on location. So they put all the locations in your school, and then they decide each pass is that they have 3 choices about how that pass is going to run. Round trip, that means that the student will not interact with another adult during that passing process, like going to the bathroom. layover, which is when we do expect another adult in the passing process, like when the student needs to go see the nurse. And then one way, which is what it sounds like when they leave your classroom and you don't expect them back for the rest of the class period. Maybe they're signing out for the day. So we're going to start off with a student created round trip pass. Watch the video. Let me know if you have any questions. I keep looking over and checking that Q&A. I don't see any so far, but don't hesitate to reach out and I'll see when the video is over.
Now you can see two screens. On the right, we have the student screen, and on the left, we have the teacher screen. I want to mention that all of your classroom rules still apply when using Pass. You can set the expectation that students will ask for permission before making a pass. I'm going to send Kevin on his first pass. To make a pass, Kevin must answer where he is departing from and where he's going to. He can choose from his list of favorites, he can edit this list of favorites, or he can choose from the drop-down menu or type in a teacher's name. He can choose his destination in the same ways. Kevin selects the locker and clicks Submit. His pass is red, which means stop. Kevin must wait for approval on his pass. On the teacher dashboard, Miss Lisa can see Kevin's pass and where he wants to go. She can also see how many passes Kevin has had during the day. This function is a teacher favorite. If you click on the number, you can see where Kevin has gone and how long he has been out of class. You can see the same information on the student device in the top left corner. Miss Lisa can approve this pass in two different ways. She can use her dashboard and click the green Approve button. This could be on her desktop, mobile device, or tablet. When she clicks Approve, the pass turns green on both devices and the timer starts to count. This prevents students from taking a screenshot of a pass. Please note, students do not need to take their device with them in the hallway. When Kevin comes back to class, Miss Lisa can end his pass on her dashboard by clicking End and Keep. Now, Kevin will go to the water fountain. He makes his pass and clicks Submit. The second way to approve a pass is on the student device. Miss Lisa can click on her name in white on Kevin's device and type in her unique PIN. She set this PIN in her profile settings. When she clicks Approve, the pass turns green on both devices. When Kevin comes back to class, Miss Lisa can end the pass on his device by clicking on the location and typing in her PIN. These two methods of approving and ending passes can be used interchangeably.
All right. Well, you're maybe thinking about some questions. I'll go over a few things. So if you have a student pass that needs your approval, there are two ways you can approve that pass. You can do it on your dashboard with a simple click of approve, or if you're closer to your student's device, which you probably are because you're up walking around and helping your students, you can put that PIN number that you established on your profile page. Remember that PIN number? You'll use that on the student's device to approve those passes. You can also end them, and you can switch those up. They're interchangeable, however, all day. Students can always set up their favorites. So there is a 4.5-minute long video that shows them how to do that. And I'll make sure to point that out to you later during the training section. And then don't forget about that today's history bubble. So I know you don't have time to do this all the time. This is like, that student that has done that, has gone to the bathroom, several times that day, and you just want to, look, there will be a that little bubble. I don't know why I brought this over because I don't have any passes today. Sorry. So there is that little bubble. You can click it. It will it'll show you the number of passes that student had that day. And if you click it, it will give you the details. You can also do that from the student screen. So it's great just to double check maybe those, trouble students that have probably already gone to the bathroom to class before you. Also, don't forget, your admin can set up limits if you're wondering like how many passes a student gets. So your admin can set up limits on how many passes all the students or certain students get, and they can also put limits on the number of passes to locations, and they can also keep certain students from making passes with other students at the same time, and they can also block some students from certain locations. So there's lots of limits that they can put on to help, quell some of the passes for some of those troubled students. So you might want to talk to your admin, if you got some situations that maybe need some students that need some limits. All right. Up next is it's an optional functionality called Autopass. So while you were watching that last video, if you thought, oh, I have to approve all these student created passes, not necessarily. So there is an optional functionality called Autopass. If your school admin is decided that you guys are going to use it at your school, they set it up. They're step one, and then you are step two. You have to set it up for your particular classroom. So this video is going to show you what Autopass looks like because it allows students to start and or stop their own passes, but you don't have to do it. Even if your admin is offering it, you decide as a teacher if you want to set it up for your particular classroom or not. So watch the video. It's going to show you what it looks like and then also how to set it up if you do want to set it up. All right, let me know if you have any questions when the video is over.
The next pass I'd like to show you is an Autopass. This allows a student to only start, only stop, or start and stop their own pass without the teacher physically interacting with that pass. You may be envisioning mayhem, but I want to assure you that you still have control in your classroom. On the teacher dashboard, you can see an Autopass section here. This is an optional feature. If your school admin have not enabled this feature, you won't see the section. If it is enabled, the school administrators will select all the locations they want to be available for an Autopass for the entire building. Then, each teacher can choose the specific locations that are pertinent for their classroom. So, your admin may have selected all the bathrooms, but you might select only the ones on your hall. If you click on the Edit button, we can see that Miss Lisa has allowed a student to start and stop their own pass to the girls' and boys' 100 bathroom. She could also allow a student to only start their pass or only stop their pass for a specific location. And Miss Lisa can set a limit for how many students can be on an Autopass from her class at one time. She can also turn the Autopass feature off for her class here. If she has a class of freshmen next period and she doesn't trust them to use it, in 2 easy clicks she can disable it. And she can turn it back on for the following class as she wishes. Finally, classroom management should still be in place, so the student knows that they must ask for permission before starting their own pass. Now, Miss Lisa can give a verbal yes and continue teaching while Kevin goes to the bathroom. Now, Kevin makes his pass to go to the bathroom, and this time he has a green start button. Because Miss Lisa gave him permission, he will start his own pass. While he is going on this pass, let's look at the teacher dashboard. The building passes tile is for the entire building. The first number is how many active passes are in the entire building. The second number is the total number of passes used during the day. My passes are specific to Miss Lisa. The first number is how many students she has on an active pass right now, and the second number is how many passes she's been involved in during the day. Flagged passes are passes that exceed a time limit set by your school administrators. These passes are flagged yellow and red. This is a visual to let you know some passes have run long, and you might want to talk to those students. I'd like to point out the blue question marks again. By clicking on them, you can access quick help text information about the page you are on. Miss Lisa can toggle between My Passes and All Passes. When she does this, she can see that another student is in the hallway. She can also toggle between active passes, ended passes, or both. She can filter this information and run a search. Use the basic view to collapse the passes and see more. You can also pause the dashboard to prevent it from updating in real time. This makes it easier to look for a specific pass. Just be sure to resume it when you're done. Now, we are looking at the student and teacher screens. Kevin ends his Autopass by clicking on the Stop button because he has returned to class.
Sorry about that little interlude there. I was trying to get my teacher back up and in the right screen, but it came up there. Anyway, so Autopass. So it is, again, an optional functionality. It's a 2-step process. Your school admin decides if they're going to set it up and offer it to your school. If so, it will show up on your dashboard. right up here. So if you don't have this on your dashboard when you log in, this is just the main dashboard, then they're not offering it. You can maybe ask about it, but if it is available for you, you're going to set it up here by clicking on the pencil, and then you can use Autopass for your classroom. There is something that we're going over the different toggles and buttons. I did want to let you know there's a edit on passes that they don't show you on that video. So if you're on my passes and you go to ended or both, there's that little bubble, by the way. If you are associated with that pass, you will see a little pencil. So if you interacted as an adult with that pass, you're going to see that pencil. If you click on it, you would be able to edit it. So if you forget to end a pass, or a student does, or whatever, you can always go in and edit it. If you do edit, it's going to say edit under it once you do that. Also, they don't point out this little speech bubble on the far right. That little speech bubble will allow you to make a comment. So maybe you did edit that pass and you want to put that, forgot to end, or it was a mistake, or whatever. You can do that on ended passes and also live and active passes. So if it were an active pass, it would be green, and you could leave a comment in real time as well. Just always remain generic and professional on those comments. The student involved in the pass can see them, and historically they are kept so adults can see them. Just throwing that out there. All right, so just letting you know about that, just a couple of things that the video doesn't address. So up next is the last student created pass. It's going to be a layover example, and that means the student is going to interact with another adult during this passing process. And then the second half of the video is a teacher or adult created pass. And you probably want to know how to do that, because sometimes you need to make a pass for a student, right? All right, so watch the video, and please don't hesitate to reach out in that Q&A if you have any questions. And I'll see you when the video is over.
The next pass I'd like to show you is a layover pass. This is when a student goes to a location and is checked in and out by an adult there. Kevin needs to go to the nurse. He makes his pass, and this time there's a comment required. Kevin needs a band-aid for a cut. His pass appears on Miss Lisa's screen, and she approves his pass. While Kevin is on the way to the nurse, I'm going to bring up her screen. This is Nurse Deb. She associated herself with the nurse's office so she can see Kevin's pass to that location as well as the comment he put, so she can be prepared when he arrives. When Kevin arrives, Nurse Deb can interact with this pass in 3 ways. If there's a long line of students and the period is about to end, she can end his pass and keep him until the next period. She might leave a comment to let Miss Lisa know why. Or maybe Kevin grabs a band-aid by the door, gets a nod from Nurse Deb, and goes right back to class. She can click in and out. In this case, Kevin's cut is a bit deeper than he thought, and Nurse Deb needs to disinfect it. She clicks arrived since Kevin is where he needs to be. She will leave a comment to Miss Lisa that she needs to disinfect his wound. Make sure these comments are professional and generic. Every adult can see them, as well as the student that is involved in the pass. When Kevin is all bandaged up, Nurse Deb clicks returning, and he is on his way back to class. Coming over to Miss Lisa's screen, she can see the timestamps and comments from Nurse Deb. When Kevin arrives, Miss Lisa can end his pass on her dashboard or on the student device. You may be wondering, what do I do if a student didn't bring their device, or maybe the device has died? You can write a teacher pass for a student to use. Find this on your left menu and type in the student's name. You will see any important information about their passes below. Next, choose their location. If there is a limit on this student set by the admin, you will receive a warning in red. Use your professional discretion to decide whether or not to send the student anyway. You can leave a reason for the pass, and if you pre-approve the pass, it will automatically start when you click Create. Then, when the student returns, simply end their pass on your dashboard.
And you can also end the pass on the student's device. That video ends weird to me. Anyway, you can always interchange those. All right, some things to note from that last video. Maybe you're thinking about questions to put in the Q&A. Always keep your comments generic and professional. They are kept historically, so keep that in mind. There are 3 check-in options. If you are the other adult in that layover pass, you have 3 options. You could quickly in and out. Hey, here's your book. See you later. Or you could arrive, and after the short delay, you would click returning. Or you could end and keep if you're going to hold that student for the rest of the class period. And don't forget that little speech bubble over there. You can always leave a message to that other teacher or adult if you need to. You will see warnings, warnings if limits have been reached, and you can override that ability. So when you go to create an adult or teacher pass, you will see any warnings that your admin has established. Remember those limits I told you about? They can limit students or locations. You're going to see all that, but you as an adult can make the professional decision to go ahead and issue that pass or not. But you will see those so that you know that they are happening. All right, you guys are really quiet today. I can't believe not a single question, but I'm going to keep moving. And what is next is another optional feature. It is called Appointment Pass. Appointment passes are great. They are for teachers. You could use them to set up, makeup tasks. Nurses, you can set up those medication students. Counseling, you can set up those scheduling appointments. Anyway, so watch the video. They're a little bit more to them to set them up, but they are a great functionality. They are separate from the now and active passes. So watch the video and let me know if you have any questions, of course.
The final pass I'd like to show you is the Appointment Pass. You can find this option on the left menu. Nurse Deb needs to see Kevin today, so she's going to make an appointment. She types in his name and enters a reason for the appointment. Next, she should choose which teacher Kevin will be with at the time of the appointment. Then, she selects the date, which can be for today or any future date, and she chooses the time and period. She can have the appointment pass repeat daily if she needs to give him medicine every day, weekly, maybe a counselor has a weekly counseling appointment with a student, or monthly. Nurse Deb can easily add students to this appointment by clicking the Add button. Everything auto-populates, and Nurse Deb only needs to select the new student. However, all of the information can be adjusted for the added appointment. Today, we're just going to make an appointment for Kevin. You can see all your appointments on the Appointment tab. Here, you can choose the next 7 days or beyond 7 days, as well as filter this information. You can also find your appointments for today on your dashboard under the Today's Appointments tab. Miss Lisa can see Kevin's appointment to the nurse and interact with it in 3 different ways. If she has a test and she can't send Kevin to the appointment, she can cancel it and let Nurse Deb know why. Or, if she has a quiz during the first 30 minutes of class, she can edit the time and let Nurse Deb know why. In this case, she is going to acknowledge the appointment. We see a green check next to her name. This allows internal communication, which allows all adults to be on the same page. However, if Miss Lisa doesn't acknowledge the appointment, it will still happen. 5 minutes before the appointment, it will automatically switch from Today's Appointments to the My Passes tab as a pass waiting for approval. Neither Miss Lisa nor Kevin need to create this pass. Miss Lisa just has to approve it when it appears on her dashboard. On the student screen, we see that Kevin gets a reminder. Students will receive a 20-minute and 5-minute reminder in their app or on their dashboard. If the appointment was created on a previous day, depending on the school's appointment settings, he might also receive an email in the morning with an agenda for all of his appointments for the day. Kevin can choose to acknowledge the appointment, and we see a thumbs up under his name as another internal communication piece. Finally, Kevin can see his appointments by clicking on the Appointments tab on his left menu. Students also have the option to create an appointment request. This is an optional feature, so if your admin have not enabled it, students will not have this option. The appointment request allows a student to ask for an appointment from an adult, but the adult does have to confirm the request before it will be approved. If they don't confirm it, it simply doesn't happen. Kevin will toggle over to Appointment Pass Request and enter the information requested. For the date, he can choose today, but must choose at least 30 minutes from the time he is creating the request. He can also choose up to 30 days in the future. As a teacher, you will see appointment requests to you on your dashboard under Today's Awaiting Confirmation and Future Awaiting Confirmation. You can confirm, edit, or cancel these requests as you see fit. Finally, students will receive a notification in their bell icon if any appointments or requests have been edited or canceled.
All right, before I go over the things about Appointment Pass, I did have a question and I wanted to address it. It says, will students need to use their own computer for passes, or could they use any computer or iPad? We don't always use laptops in classrooms. So yeah, they can log in on any device. You can also set up a kiosk, which I think it's the next video goes over the other menu options, which kiosk is one of them. So a kiosk, if you set up kiosk, it allows your one device to be set up, like in your classroom, and then the students can share that device for the creation of passes. Schools that are not one-to-one with devices use that, and then schools that are one-to-one devices have them in the gym, cafeteria, office, but also you might just want to have one in each classroom, but they can use any device. So, I understand not having, maybe the laptop open all the time in your classroom. So there is that ability. All right, so going back to appointment pass that you just saw, appointment passes, it is an optional feature. So if your school admin is offering it, you're going to see it on the left menu. It will be here, and also you would have these additional tabs. So everybody gets My Passes and All Passes. So everybody has two of those tabs. If you're going to use appointments, adult created appointments, you get the third button or tab. And then if you're allowing students to make appointment requests, you get the other two tabs. So if those aren't there and appointments is not over here, then you don't have that option. Of course, you could probably ask your admin about it. A lot of schools sometimes don't start with appointments, and then after a few weeks of using Pass and everybody gets used to, the now inactive passes, they add appointments. So that might be, the plan for your school. Also, don't forget about that little blue circle in the right corner. If you're working on a tablet, you can get to your left menu options by clicking that little circle, and you could get to appointment pass that way. It's great for smaller devices. All right, let me get that out of the way. So the reminder, oh, you're welcome. Rachel, you're welcome. So reminder notifications are sent to students. So if you make an appointment more than 24 hours in advance, your admin can have a setting on where the student will get an early morning email agenda with their appointments for the day. It is optional, but they definitely get that 20-minute reminder and the 5-minute reminder on their dashboard if they have an appointment. And then I already talked about the today's appointment. That will show you how many appointments you have today. And then if you need to approve any requests from students, if you're using the student requests. And then students cannot make appointments. If that feature is turned on, they can only request an appointment of an adult. The appointment doesn't become an appointment until the adult confirms it. So students can only make a request. All right. So what is up next is, yay, the last video. You're almost finished. So this last video is going to go over the other menu options, the history report, which is great for parent conferences or IEP meetings, kiosk, and out of office. So let me know if you have any questions.
On the left menu, you have the history report. This allows you to look up the history of a student's passes. You can choose to view My Passes or All Passes, and you can search by one or more students, teachers, and locations. Choose the date range you'd like to search for and click Submit. You can also filter and search this information once generated. This report can be downloaded as a CSV file, which is great to take to parent-teacher conferences or IEP meetings. When Kevin's parents ask Miss Lisa whether he is receiving his break accommodations, she can show all the passes that Kevin has used to go to the break room. Also on the left menu is the kiosk option. This is an optional feature. If it is not enabled for your school, you will not see this option here. The kiosk allows you to set up a shared device where students can create and end their passes. If you'd like to learn more about this, please consult the blue question marks as well as our training section and talk to your school administrator. The out of office function allows you to virtually lock your door. This is great for hall duty, IEP meetings, and when you just want to eat your lunch in peace. To set an out of office, click the plus button in the top right. Put in your reason for being unavailable and choose the date and times. You can also choose a repetition if you wish. Then click Create. When that time comes, no student will be able to create a pass to you, and they will receive the reason that you entered. Again, consult the blue question mark for more information.
All right, so don't forget about that history report. Again, it's not something that you're probably going to do while you're teaching, but if you have parent conferences or IEP meeting coming up, you do have the ability to look up passes on that history report, and it does allow you to download it so you can print it out so you don't have to log in front of those adults. But you can maybe show that student that is not doing so well in your class because they go to the restroom, maybe too many times. Anyway, so that's always available. And then that kiosk I mentioned earlier. So if you want a shared device in your classroom, you can set up a kiosk so you can direct launch or use the URL on a second device. You put the code in and it launches a kiosk. So it changes the interface, and students, they walk up to it, they put in their credentials and create and start and stop passes from that shared device. And then that out of office is great if you have a meeting in the middle of the day or a duty and you need to block passes to or from you during that time period. You just set that up, and then no passes will be made to or from you during that time period. All right, so let me get that out of the way again. And the only thing that's left is going over training materials. So I'm actually going to start briefly with the students. So this is a student logged in. This is what their dashboard looks like after they've set up their favorites. And I'll show you that video in just a second. I do want to let you know on their left menu, they have a left menu. It's very similar to yours. They do have a digital ID. If your school uploads student photos, their photo would be here, and this may be a QR code or a barcode. And this works just like a plastic one. So that's always available. If they've lost their ID, they can log in with Pass, and it should scan just like a regular ID in case they need it for whatever reason. All right, so training for students, they have a student quick reference card there, but videos, I did want to point out, by the way, you do have access to their materials, so you could project this in your classroom, but you could also direct them to watch it, I guess, on their device. So there is an overview. It's about 7.5 minutes. But right below it is how to create a pass and set favorites. It's 4.5 minutes long, and I feel like it shows them everything they need. So that's there. Along with these others, they are 2 to 8 minutes long based on topic. And then there's a couple of kiosk videos. If you are going to use kiosk, I highly recommend they watch those. Now, these are Venmo. If that's blocked at your site, there is a YouTube index link at the bottom as a second source. So let me get that student out of the way. I'm going to bring over a teacher, and I think I see a question also. If we're out and have a sub, how does this work with that person? That's a great question, Chris. So what happens is your admin puts the subs in, but they don't actually work in your system, because of student data. So what will happen is when you're absent, say Barnes is absent today, and the student would still say they're leaving Chris Barnes's room, maybe going to the bathroom, and the sub will type in their PIN. They have a PIN just like you guys do, a personal identification number. They type that in on the student's device, and it puts on the dashboard, their name will show up in red as an unexpected adult because the pass was made to or from you, but you're absent, and you're not there. So they put in their PIN number. It's documented in red so that if there's a problem or a question about the pass, everybody knows who to talk to. And then when the student returns, they put their PIN number in on the student's device to end the pass. And we actually have for your admin, we have a sub document that they can print and make copies. And it shows the sub in 2 easy screenshots how to do that. So it's a really easy process, but that's the way it works. And so the subs aren't actually in your system where they could see any student data or anything. All right, back to training resources. So you guys as teachers or other adults, at the bottom of your main menu is a training tab. You have documents and videos. And just to point out a couple, this past teacher guide, it's number 1 under documents. It's a great resource especially when you're new to PASS. Maybe you want more information on that kiosk. It's going to give you information, show you with screenshots, and if there are steps involved, they number the steps to show you what to do and how to set it up. So there's that one. You also have access to the student guide, tech tips I'll talk more about in a minute. Mobile app, we do have a mobile app. It's free for Android and iPhone. You can download it. You log in the same way you do for the browser. And if you want more information, there is a document there for the mobile app. And if you're a premium subscriber, charting management is down at the bottom as well. Now, videos, you guys are pink and your students are blue. So in your section, these are all 2 to 8 minutes long based on functionality, except the very last one. All the videos you saw today are compressed into one video, and it is at the bottom, and the title is Teacher Staff Training Video. So if you want to review anything that you saw today, just check out that video. And then your students, there's that overview and that how to create a pass and set up favorites. And then again, kiosk, there is a teacher setup instructional video if you're doing kiosk along with your students. And that YouTube link is at the bottom for you guys as well. Just confirming that if an appointment is created
Welcome
and
to
it is
Security
time for the
Pass.
student
This
to
video is a
come to
training.
the appointment, it will alert them on their computer. Yes, so the students on their dashboard, let me bring over, I think this is my student. They will get a pop-up. Nope, that's my admin. They will get a pop-up reminder on their dashboard. It'll at 20 minutes that will happen, and at 5 minutes. Also on their left menu, you see appointments. If this student had an appointment, there would be a red oval with a number of appointments there, and they could click over and see any appointments that they have. But they also, just when they're on their dashboard, a pop-up happens at 20 and 5 minutes. And then on your dashboard at 5 minutes, a lot of people, sorry, I'm trying to grab my people. A lot of people don't understand. So at 5 minutes before the appointment, it would have an appointment here for today's appointment. There'll be a number 1. At 5 minutes before that appointment, it moves from today's appointment to a live My Passes. So there would be nothing here. I'm on My Passes. I wouldn't see any passes. At 5 minutes before this appointment, it's going to pop up here. It's going to be green. It's going to look like a regular live and active pass, but it is weighted differently and it is recorded and it will say appointment pass. So you'll know that it's different, even though it looks, pretty much the same. but it moves over to the My Passes tab, and you just click approve when the student's ready to go. I hope that answered your question. I probably gave you a lot more information than you're actually asking for. But so yes, your students do get a reminder. I think that was the original question. Okay. So went over training materials. So the last thing to mention is that tech tip stock that just showed you in your document section under your training tab. If you do or your students are having what you feel like are tech issues, like your dashboard jumps or scrolls, or it looks like a pass is stuck on the dashboard, it's not really. You might need to clear your cache or reset that ADA widget. That tech tip stock will help you out with that. Also, if that student tried to guess your PIN number and got locked out, that tech tip doc will tell you how to unlock them. So check it out, might save you some time. If it can't solve your issue, then please reach out to the help desk. But start with that tech tip stock. It might honestly save you some time. All right. Any other questions, please put them in the Q&A. I will answer them the best I can. There was a checklist that was sent out. The link is in the email for this webinar. There will be a survey that happens when I end this call. The last of the questions is actually a QR code for the certificate of completion, but I'm also going to put it up on the screen. I will turn off my camera. You can take a screenshot photo or you can scan that QR code. But I will also continue addressing any questions that come up in the Q&A. I do appreciate you being here today. I hope it was helpful and hope you have a great rest of your day and a great school year. But please, if you have any questions, I'll hang out for just a moment and you can scan that or take a screenshot.